大家好，我是 Jenny， 欢迎来到沉思者 J。有一个人的人生，比任何电影剧本都精彩。他出生在奥地利一个小村庄，家里穷到冬天没有热水，他却告诉自己，有一天我要征服世界。后来他真的做到了，他不只征服了一个世界，他征服了3个。他叫阿诺史瓦辛格，这个名字光念起来就有力量。今天的向大师致敬系列，我们来聊聊这位活生生的传奇。他的故事不是励志书上的空话，是真实发生过的奇迹。先说说阿诺从哪里来。1947年7月30日，阿诺出生在奥地利的塔尔村，那是个人口才几百人的小地方。他的父亲古斯塔夫是镇上的警察局长，是个非常严格的人。父亲对阿诺和哥哥要求极高，每天早上要完成功课才能吃早餐，假日还要交读书报告。阿诺小时候并不是父亲眼中的好孩子，他顽皮好动，喜欢运动多过读书，但父亲最疼的是哥哥，这让年幼的阿诺心里有一块空洞，他需要找到一件事来证明自己。10岁那年，一切改变了。阿诺的足球教练带他去健身房，他第一次看到那些重训器材，第一次看到有人在锻炼肌肉。他说他当时感觉到一种电流穿过身体，那个瞬间他知道了，这就是他要做的事。15岁，阿诺开始认真接触健美运动，他找到了偶像，那个人叫雷吉帕克，是一位英国健美冠军，后来也当过演员。阿诺把雷吉帕克的海报贴在墙上，每天盯着看。他告诉自己，我要成为比他更伟大的人。这个15岁的乡下男孩开始了疯狂的训练计划，每天练5个小时，周末练更长。有时候健身房关门了，他爬窗户进去继续练。邻居觉得他疯了，父亲觉得他在浪费时间，但阿诺从来没有停下来。18岁那年，他入伍服兵役。奥地利规定每个男性都要当兵，阿诺在军队里依然没有放弃训练，他甚至为的是参加比赛，擅离职守一次，结果被关了禁闭，但他在禁闭期间还是想办法继续训练。这就是阿诺的个性，任何牢笼都关不住他的意志。那一次擅离职守去参加的比赛，他拿了冠军。那是1965年，欧洲青少年健美锦标赛，他成为史上最年轻的冠军之一。那一年他才18岁。接下来的几年，阿诺像一台不知疲倦的机器。1966年，他搬到慕尼黑。1967年，他拿下了他人生中第一个重大冠军，那就是奥林匹亚先生，这是健美界最高荣誉。他当时才20岁。是史上最年轻的奥林匹亚先生，这个记录至今无人打破。奥林匹亚先生是神魔概念，你可以把它想象成体育界的诺贝尔奖，全世界最顶尖的健美选手，每年在台上较劲，而阿诺在20岁就站上了那个顶点。他后来一共拿了7次奥林匹亚先生，7次，这在健美界是神话般的成就。连现在的选手提起这个数字都要肃然起敬。他在健美生涯的训练方法非常特别，他不只练身体，他也在练心理。他说过一句话让我印象非常深刻，他说肌肉的生长来自痛苦，当你感到燃烧的时候，那就是肌肉正在成长的时刻。他把这个痛感叫做泵感，他说他爱上了那种感觉，就像恋爱一样。他的训练哲学影响了整个健美界，他推广了分部位训练的概念。今天你去健身房看到有人周一练胸，周2练背，周3练腿，这套训练系统有一部分就是受阿诺影响的。在健美的顶峰，阿诺眼睛已经看向了别的地方。他说健美只是他的第一步，他的真正目标是好莱坞，他想成为电影明星。1968年，21岁的阿诺移民到美国，他带着一口浓重的奥地利口音，带着强壮的身材，带住几乎为零的英文能力，带着一个大到不可思议的梦想。刚到美国的日子非常艰难， 他的口音让制片人摇头，他的名字让片商头痛。有人建议他改个美国名字，叫做阿诺斯壮，好记又好念，但阿诺拒绝了。他说他的名字就是他的品牌，有一天大家都会记住这个名字。他每天练英文，每天去试镜，每天被拒绝。这段时间他靠着砖瓦工作谋生，用强壮的肌肉搬砖头，赚钱养活自己，同时继续追梦。他早期参演了一些小角色，渐渐在好莱坞建立起存在感，但真正的转捩点来自1982年。那一年他主演了电影《蛮王柯南》，这部电影让全世界看到一个强壮男人可以做神魔，票房非常成功，但还不够。真正让阿诺变成全球巨星的是1984年，那部电影叫做《魔鬼终结者》，他在里面饰演一个来自未来的机器人杀手，台词很少，表情很冷，但每一幕都令人印象深刻。有一句台词成为的是影史名句，我会回来的，就这4个字，让全世界都记住了阿诺·史瓦辛格。但你知道吗？阿诺最初并不是应征终结者这个角色的，他去试镜是为的是另一个角色。导演詹姆斯·科麦隆见到阿诺以后，马上改变心意，说你就是终结者。这个临时的决定，改写了2个人的命运。魔鬼终结者之后，阿诺的事业一飞冲天，突破魔鬼陷阱、魔鬼大地，全都是票房大片。他成为80年代最卖座的动作片明星，在90年代他更加风光。魔鬼终结者第2集让他达到事业巅峰，那是1991年，这部电影当年是全球票房冠军，特效技术完全领先时代。阿诺在里面说的那句我不会再回来，让多少影迷看到眼眶泛红。他在电影事业巅峰的时候，片酬高达每部电影3000万美元，这在当时是天文数字，制片公司愿意花这么多钱，因为他的名字就等于票房保证。但阿诺从来不只是一个演员，他的大脑跟他的肌肉一样厉害。在还是演员的时候，他就开始投资房地产。他在圣塔莫尼卡买下一栋商业大楼，精准的投资眼光让他赚到了远超过电影收入的财富。他也投资餐厅和健身房，在好莱坞建立了自己的商业王国。但他还没停下来，他有第3个梦想，政治。2003年，加州陷入财政危机，当时的州长格雷戴维斯面临罢免投票，阿诺决定参选加州州长。所有人都觉得这是个笑话，一个奥地利来的健美选手，讲英文还有口音，怎么可能治理全美最大的州？但阿诺走遍了加州每一个角落，他用他的个人魅力，用他的真诚，赢得了选民的心。2003年10月，阿诺·史瓦辛格当选加州州长，这一刻震惊了全世界。当了州长的阿诺，并不是只会做样子的州长，他推动了多项重要政策，在气候变迁议题上他展现了真正的领导力。2006年，他签署了加州全球暖化解决方案法案，这是美国第一个针对温室气体排放的州级立法，比联邦政府还快了好几年。他说，对抗气候变迁不是左派或右派的问题，是人类存亡的问题。这句话到今天依然有力量。他担任州长2届，直到2011年卸任。在任期间，他努力平衡加州的财政，推动教育和基础建设。虽然不是没有争议，但没有人能否认他真的用心治理这个州。阿诺的人生当然也有黑暗时刻。2011年卸任后不久，他承认了一段婚外情。他跟家中工作人原有过一个孩子，这件事让他的婚姻破裂。他和妻子玛丽雪莱分居，媒体大肆批评他，公众的失望溢于言表。这是他人生中最低潮的时刻，但阿诺没有逃避，他公开承认自己的错误。他说这是他做过最糟糕的事。他花了很长时间修复和孩子们的关系，他承担了后果，慢慢地重新建立自己的形象。这一段也是阿诺的一课。 再强壮的人也会犯错，面对错误的方式，才是真正考验一个人的时刻。从低谷爬起来以后，阿诺继续他的人生旅程，他重返大银幕，拍了好几部续集作品，他也把更多精力放在社会议题上，尤其是环境保护和气候变迁。他在社群媒体上非常活跃，他的贴文常常让人捧腹大笑，又常常让人若有所思。他喜欢和一头驴子和一头迷你马同框拍照。他说，动物让他保持谦逊，不管你有多伟大，驴子还是会对你不理不睬。他的健身哲学在网络时代再次爆红，他在各种平台分享训练影片。70多岁的他，依然拥有令人惊叹的体态。他说他永远不会停止训练，因为训练让他感觉自己还活着。阿诺有一段话，我认为是他最精华的人生哲学。他说，没有任何计划是完美的，没有任何道路是笔直的，但只要你知道自己的目标在哪里，你就可以找到任何一条路走到那里。重要的是你有没有一直在走。他说他的成功秘诀有6个。第一是要有清晰的愿景，你要知道自己想要什么，要像看得见的目标一样清晰。第二是不要理会那些说不可能的人。阿诺说他人生中每一个梦想都被别人说不可能，健美冠军不可能，好莱坞明星不可能，加州州长不可能，他全部做到了。第三是不要害怕失败，失败是成功的学费，你缴了学费，你就学到了东西，不要因为怕失败就不去尝试。第四是不要让别人的怀疑进入你的脑袋，怀疑是最危险的病毒，一旦你开始怀疑自己，你就输了一半。第五是努力工作，没有捷径，没有魔法，就是努力，再努力，然后继续努力。第六是回馈社会。阿诺说他能有今天，是因为这个世界给了他机会，所以他有责任把这个机会传递下去。这6个原则听起来很简单，但做到的人寥寥无几。阿诺是真的把这6个原则活出来的人。有一件事让我特别感动，阿诺对年轻世代一直非常慷慨，他不藏私，他把自己的训练方法，他的人生智慧，毫无保留地分享出去。他说他年轻的时候得到了很多前辈的帮助，所以他要把这个善意传递下去。他在哈佛大学的一场演讲里说过，不要让自己被别人定义，只有你自己能定义自己是谁。你来自哪里不重要，你的名字怎么念不重要，你的口音怎么听不重要，重要的是你决定要成为什么样的人，然后你为那个决定付出了多少。这句话我觉得值得每个人抄下来贴在墙上。2023年，阿诺接受了心脏手术，他装了一个心脏节律器。手术后他非常平静地面对媒体，他说他很感谢现代医疗技术，让他的心脏像终结者一样继续运作。你看，连面对手术他都能说出这种幽默的话，这就是阿诺，他把人生当成一场冒险，不管遇到什么，他都是主角。阿诺史瓦辛格的故事告诉我们什么？他告诉我们一个人能承载多少梦想。健美冠军是一个世界，电影明星是另一个世界，政治人物是第3个世界。很多人一辈子只能在一个世界里找到自己的位置，而阿诺在3个截然不同的领域都登上了顶峰。这不是天赋的问题，这是选择的问题，这是意志的问题。这是那个奥地利小村庄里的男孩，决定不接受任何人替他画下的限制。他曾说过一句让我反复思考的话，限制只存在于你的脑海中，当你决定突破那些限制的时候，你就会发现，外面的世界比你想象的大得多。今天我们聊了阿诺的健美传奇，聊了他在好莱坞的辉煌，聊了他在政坛的成就，也聊了他如何面对人生的低潮。他不是完美的人，但他是一个真实的人，一个选择不设限的人。每一次当你觉得自己办不到的时候，想想那个在慕尼黑穷到爬窗进健身房的少年， 想想那个到好莱坞被嘲笑口音的移民，想想那个没有任何政治背景却当上加州州长的演员。他做到了，因为他决定做到。我们下次见咯。Hello everyone, I'm Jenny. Welcome to Thinker J. There is a man whose real life is more incredible than any movie script. He was born in a small village in Austria. His family was so poor that winters meant no hot water. Yet he told himself, one day I will conquer the world. And he did. Not just one world. He conquered 3. His name is Arnold Schwarzenegger. Even saying his name out loud feels powerful. Today on our Tribute to the Masters series, we are talking about this living legend. His story is not the empty inspiration found in self-help books. This is a real miracle that actually happened. Let us start with where Arnold came from. On July 30, 1947, Arnold was born in the village of Thal in Austria. It was a tiny place with only a few hundred residents. His father Gustav was the local police chief. He was an extremely strict man. Gustav had very high expectations for Arnold and his older brother. Every morning the boys had to finish their schoolwork before eating breakfast. On weekends they had to submit book reports. Young Arnold was not exactly the son his father dreamed of. He was energetic and restless. He loved sports far more than studying. His father favored his older brother. That left a hollow feeling in young Arnold's heart. He needed to find something to prove himself. At the age of 10, everything changed. Arnold's soccer coach took him to a gym. For the first time he saw weight training equipment. For the first time he watched men building their bodies. He later said he felt an electric current pass through him in that moment. He knew right then and there. This was what he was meant to do. At 15, Arnold began taking bodybuilding seriously. He found an idol. The man was Khalid Reg Park. Reg Park was a British bodybuilding champion who had also become an actor. Arnold put Reg Park's poster on his wall and stared at it every day. He told himself, I am going to become even greater than he is. This 15-year-old boy from the countryside started an absolutely insane training program. He trained 5 hours every day. On weekends he trained even longer. Sometimes the gym was closed. He climbed in through a window to keep training. The neighbors thought he had lost his mind. His father thought he was wasting his time. But Arnold never stopped. At 18, he was drafted into military service. Every male Austrian was required to serve. Arnold refused to give up his training even in the army. He even went absent without leave once to compete in a competition. He was put in confinement as punishment. But he found a way to keep training even during confinement. This is the essence of Arnold Schwarzenegger. No cage could ever contain his will. That competition he went AWOL to attend? He won. It was 1965. The Junior European Bodybuilding Championship. He became one of the youngest champions in history. He was just 18 years old. Over the next several years Arnold worked like a tireless machine. In 1966 he moved to Munich. In 1967 he won his first major championship. That was Mr. Olympia. This is the highest honor in bodybuilding. He was only 20 years old at the time. He became the youngest Mr. Olympia in history. That record still stands today. What does Mr. Olympia even mean? Think of it as the Nobel Prize of the fitness world. The best bodybuilders on the planet compete on that stage every year. And Arnold stood at the very top of it at age 20. He would go on to win the title 7 times in total. 7 times. This is a mythical achievement in bodybuilding. Even today, current competitors speak of that number with reverence. His training methods during his bodybuilding career were very special. He did not just train his body. He trained his mind. He once said something that left a deep impression on me. He said muscle growth comes from pain. When you feel the burning sensation, that is the moment your muscles are growing. He called this feeling the pump. He said he fell in love with that feeling. The same way someone falls in love with a person. His training philosophy influenced the entire bodybuilding world. He popularized the concept of split training by body part. Today when you go to the gym and see someone training chest on Monday, back on Tuesday, and legs on Wednesday, that training system was partly shaped by Arnold. But even at the height of his bodybuilding career, Arnold had already set his sights elsewhere. He said bodybuilding was only his first step. His true goal was Hollywood. He wanted to become a movie star. In 1968, 21-year-old Arnold immigrated to the United States. He brought with him a thick Austrian accent, a powerful physique, almost zero ability in English, and a dream so big it seemed impossible. The early days in America were extremely difficult. His accent made producers shake their heads. His name gave studio executives headaches. Someone suggested he change his name to something more American, like Arnold Strong. Easy to remember, easy to say. But Arnold refused. He said his name was his brand. One day everyone would remember it. He practiced English every day. He went to auditions every day. He got rejected every day. During this time he worked as a bricklayer to survive, using his powerful muscles to haul bricks, making money while continuing to chase his dream. He appeared in small roles early on, gradually building a presence in Hollywood. But the real turning point came in 1982. That year he starred in a film called D. Conan the Barbarian. This movie showed the world what a powerful man could do on screen. It was a major box office success. But still not enough. What truly transformed Arnold into a global superstar was 1984. That film was called The Terminator. He played a robot assassin sent from the future. Very few lines. Completely cold expression. But every single scene was unforgettable. One line became one of the most iconic in film history. "I will be back." Just those 4 words made the entire world remember Arnold Schwarzenegger. But here is something fascinating you may not know. Arnold did not originally audition for the role of the Terminator. He went to audition for a different character. Director James Cameron took one look at Arnold and immediately changed his mind. He said, "You are the Terminator." That spontaneous decision rewrote the destiny of 2 careers. After the Terminator, Arnold's career skyrocketed. Commando, Predator, Total Recall. All were massive box office hits. He became the highest-grossing action star of the 1980s. In the 1990s he only shone brighter. Terminator 2, Judgment Day brought him to the absolute peak of his career. That was 1991. This film was the highest-grossing movie in the world that year. Its special effects were years ahead of their time. When Arnold delivered the line, "I will not be back," how many fans felt their eyes go misty? At the peak of his movie career, his salary reached $30 million per film. That was an astronomical figure at the time. Studios were willing to pay that much because his name alone guaranteed a return at the box office. But Arnold was never just an actor. His mind was just as impressive as his muscles. Even while still making movies, he was investing in real estate. He bought a commercial building in Santa Monica. His sharp investment instincts eventually earned him far more than his film income. He also invested in restaurants and fitness centers, building his own business empire in Hollywood. But he still was not done. He had a third dream. Politics. In 2003, California was in the middle of a financial crisis. Governor Gray Davis was facing a recall vote. Arnold decided to run for governor of California. Everyone thought it was a joke. An Austrian bodybuilder with an accent. How could he possibly govern the largest state in America? But Arnold traveled to every corner of California. He used his personal charisma, his sincerity, and he won the hearts of voters. In October 2003, Arnold Schwarzenegger was elected governor of California. That moment shocked the entire world. As governor, Arnold was not just playing the part. He pushed through several important policies. On the issue of climate change, he showed real leadership. In 2006 he signed the California Global Warming Solutions Act. This was the first state-level legislation targeting greenhouse gas emissions in the United States. It came years before the federal government acted. He said fighting climate change is not a liberal or conservative issue. It is a question of human survival. Those words still carry weight today. He served 2 terms as governor, leaving office in 2011. During his tenure he worked to balance California's budget. He pushed for education and infrastructure improvements. Not without controversy, of course. But no one could deny he genuinely tried to govern that state. Arnold's life has certainly had its dark moments too. Shortly after leaving office in 2011, he acknowledged an affair. He had fathered a child with a member of his household staff. The revelation ended his marriage. He and his wife Maria Shriver separated. The media coverage was brutal. Public disappointment was everywhere. This was the lowest point of his life. But Arnold did not run away. He publicly acknowledged his mistake. He said it was the worst thing he had ever done. He spent a long time working to rebuild his relationships with his children. He accepted the consequences. And slowly he rebuilt his reputation. This chapter is also a lesson from Arnold. Even the strongest person makes mistakes. How you face those mistakes is what truly tests your character. After climbing out of that low point, Arnold continued his journey. He returned to the big screen. He appeared in several sequel films. He also devoted more energy to social causes, especially environmental protection and climate change. He became very active on social media. His posts often make people burst out laughing, and then sometimes stop and think deeply. He loves taking photos with a donkey and a miniature horse. He says animals keep him humble. No matter how great you become, a donkey will still ignore you completely. His fitness philosophy went viral again in the internet age. He shares training videos across multiple platforms. Even in his mid-70s, he maintains a physique that leaves people speechless. He says he will never stop training, because training makes him feel alive. Arnold once shared something I believe captures the core of his life philosophy. He said no plan is ever perfect. No path is ever straight. But as long as you know where your goal is, you can find any road that leads there. What matters is whether you keep walking. He says his recipe for success has 6 ingredients. The first is to have a clear vision. You need to know exactly what you want. It needs to be as vivid and real as something you can see with your own eyes. The second is to ignore the people who say it is impossible. Arnold says every single dream in his life was called impossible by someone. Bodybuilding champion, impossible. Hollywood movie star, impossible. Governor of California, impossible. He achieved all of them. The third is to not be afraid of failure. Failure is the tuition you pay for success. Once you pay that tuition, you have learned something. Do not let the fear of failure stop you from trying. The fourth is to not let other people's doubts enter your mind. Doubt is the most dangerous virus. Once you start doubting yourself, you have already lost half the battle. The fifth is to work hard. There are no shortcuts. There is no magic. There is only hard work. Then more hard work. Then keep going. The sixth is to give back. Arnold says everything he has today exists because the world gave him a chance. So he has a responsibility to pass that chance on to others. These 6 principles sound simple, but very few people actually live by them. Arnold is someone who genuinely lived all 6. One thing moves me especially. Arnold has always been incredibly generous toward the younger generation. He holds nothing back. He shares his training methods, his life wisdom, openly and freely. He says when he was young, many mentors helped him along the way. So he wants to pass that generosity forward. In a speech at Harvard University, he once said, "Do not let others define you. Only you can define who you are. It does not matter where you came from. It does not matter how your name is pronounced. It does not matter what your accent sounds like. What matters is who you decide to become. And how much you are willing to give for that decision." I think that quote is worth writing down and putting on your wall. In 2023, Arnold underwent heart surgery. He had a pacemaker implanted. After the procedure, he faced the media with complete calm. He said he was grateful for modern medical technology. It kept his heart running like a Terminator. You see, even facing surgery, he could say something like that. This is Arnold. He treats life as one big adventure. Whatever comes his way, he is the main character. So what does the story of Arnold Schwarzenegger tell us? It tells us how many dreams a single person can carry. Bodybuilding champion, one world. Movie star, another world. Political leader, a third world. Most people spend an entire lifetime finding their place in just one world. Arnold reached the top in 3 completely different ones. This is not about talent. This is about choice. This is about willpower. This is about a boy from a tiny Austrian village who decided not to accept any limits that others drew around him. He once said something I keep coming back to. Limits only exist in your mind. The moment you decide to break through those limits, you will discover that the world outside is far bigger than you ever imagined. Today we talked about Arnold's legendary bodybuilding career. We talked about his glory days in Hollywood. We talked about his achievements in politics. We talked about how he faced the lowest points of his life. He is not a perfect man, but he is a real man. A man who chose to live without limits. The next time you feel like you cannot do something, think of that teenager in Munich who climbed through a window to get into a locked gym. Think of that immigrant in Hollywood who was mocked for his accent. Think of that actor with no political background who became governor of California. He made it happen. Because he decided to make it happen. See you next time.